Hey everybody, this is Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Thot Flash. I wanted to first ensure that everybody had a wonderful Memorial weekend. I actually took last week off, spent some time with the kids, and had a great weekend. Did a little work on the house and a little Bob Vila action, so I really enjoyed myself. Also, to give everyone a big reminder, we've got the California, San Francisco. I don't have my San Francisco trolley with me today, but we've got the June 24th, June 25th, we've got Dr. Brad Glowacki, we've got Dr. Matt Hubbard, myself. We'd have Dr. Pete Lombardi there, but his wife Sandy is expecting a brand new chiropractor into this world, and could happen any day. So congratulations to Dr. Pete, as always. A great friend and a great chiropractor and a great part of chiropractic consulting. I am actually in a hotel presenting room. I'm in the Evergreen room in Seattle, Washington, and I had just finished with an invite at an EPOC philosophy group. They asked me to come out and speak to the group. It was a great time. It was very exciting, and it's always sincere and humbling when people ask me to come speak and talk about chiropractic and chiropractic philosophy and share with them some practice management and so forth. Very much enjoyed myself. Running on a little awkward timeline here because it's pretty late in the night on East Coast time, but all well worth the trip. I got a chance to grab a few minutes of sleep before we presented, just to be ready for a long night, and it wasn't even long. I'm actually so fired up, I could have gone for a couple other hours, and most of the crowd probably could have gone for a couple other hours as well, but a lot of guys had to get back, ladies had to get back to their practice. So Dr. Randy Blaze had asked me to come out and speak to the Seattle EPOC, and they've had a lot of other great speakers out there, so it was really a great experience to be here, and certainly my thanks go out to him, and really to be asked to share some of what we do in our practice and what I've been doing in practice for 20 years. The thing I wanted to talk about today was that internal switch. I think that needs to be flipped, and in that chiropractor inside you that makes you go to work every day, in your view, your attitude of going to work every day versus going to serve. And I still often hear people say, I'm going to work, I'm going to work. You know, I'll be the first one to tell you, handling paperwork and you know, maybe dealing with administrative issues and staffing issues and the administrative aspect, the day-to-day of being, if we even want to use a boss, the part of running, in our case, a very big office. You know, it definitely isn't always the most exciting moment of the day. I prefer sometimes just to not even deal with it and ignore it, and certainly have that option and luxury because Leanne Klein, who's been with us 15 years, is our manager of the office. She's been great, you know, handling a lot of those issues. So I can just go be the chiropractor, you know, and adjust people and serve people. But if you feel like you're going to work every day, you know, then there's a switch that needs to flip inside you, because really the exciting part is to go serve. And when I say that, you know, it's not like I'm and I don't say this to be derogatory, but it's not like I'm going to work in sandals and a toga, you know, and I'm serving people. You know, that's not what I mean by that. But I mean, it's the intention, it's the objective. It's what is your point when you go in there and you start putting your hands on people? I mean, is your point to crack their back and get paid? Is your point just to make sure they're paying? Or is your point to give them something, some value, to actually serve them with a product, to serve them with something that is so beautiful, so genuine, so natural, so unique that no one else does, to ensure that their nervous system works better, that their children's nervous system works better, something that you need to nurture so they understand that they need to keep on with care and keep on with the regular adjustments. That you become, if you will, a professional friend. You don't want to be too friendly, but a professional friend with them. So you're able to still mentor them and direct them and lead them to a different place. You know, if you feel like you're going to work every day, well, hell no, it's no wonder your office doesn't grow. It's no wonder that you're frustrated. It's no wonder your staff feels frustrated. Does your staff feel like they have to go to work every day? You know, your job as a leader, your job as a healthcare leader, your job as a chiropractor in this environment is to lead people. It's to lead them to a different understanding, a different paradigm, a different way to live their life, a different way to treat their body. And I don't mean that in the sense of treatment. I mean how they handle in day-to-day what they put in their body, and how they handle their nervous system, and how they handle their spine. Last week I spoke at Lyceum. I forgot to wear my shirt. I'll wear it. I'll wear it on my next Thot Flash. But you know, the president of the college, Dr. John, he was awesome. And Lyceum hear us roar, and they talk about revitalization and recommitment and the focus to go to a truly principled college was great, you know, for a guy that went to National. I mean, they talk about chiropractic, they talk about philosophy. They don't negate their sciences, but you know, they have a very strong philosophical understanding of what innate is and what universal intelligence is, and that really is our driving force. And when I went to Lyceum and I listened to Dr. Dan Murphy, who's going to speak for us next year, by the way, but when I listened to Dr. Dan Murphy talk, you know, you're just blown away by the research. They had a research out of mechanical biology, and they talk about the cytoskeleton and the skeleton of the cells, the exoskeleton of the cell, and how this matrix now is being studied and much better understood, and how important it is to keep the integrity of the matrix healthy, and that our posture, our derangement, our spinal derangement, our cellular derangement, I use that just by our postures and so forth, you know, getting stuck in these positions, greatly affects the cell function. It leads the cell to disease, and it leads the cell to its replication of disease cells. So, you know, the cell, when it repairs itself, it replicates with DNA. It makes the cell sicker and sicker and sicker. It talks about aging, and then we look at serum thiol levels. And if you take people that are in their years of child rearing, you know, their offspring are going to be greatly affected. It's unbelievably powerful of what it is you do. And it's so sad that the profession wants to, and I say this, you know, in a segregated aspect, wants to, a portion of the profession wants to change the scope, when the scope of chiropractic, when the mechanical or physical nature of healthcare is finally being understood, that the physicality of the body and the adjustment and the mechanical aspects of the body, and how powerful the adjustment is in releasing energy and releasing energy fields, and allowing afferent messages and communication to flow through the body, when it's finally being understood, when they're just starting to recognize it, and then not only recognize that it exists, but after you recognize it, now they're pulling money in to study it and how that works. It's unbelievable. And it's something that you should be excited about and proud about, because when you read research and dissections that were done by D.D. Palmer and B.J. Palmer, and you read their overwhelming study and research, it's amazing that now, you know, 80 years later in some cases, 70 years later, 100 years later in some cases, that science is finally catching up. You see, science wasn't ready for these men. Science and women, Mabel, you know, the science wasn't ready for them. They were so far ahead of their time in an understanding of something that we couldn't measure and reproduce at that point. They tried. They were certainly trying. BJ really got into a lot of that technology, but you know, it was crude in comparison to today's technology. So it's an exciting time to be a chiropractor. And when I go to these events, and I go to an EPOC, and let me back up for a minute. When I go to Lyceum, and I'm one of you now in a student mentality, putting my cap on, and you know, having a notepad. I think I took more notes than anybody in that room, and it was amazing to me. You know, some of the people how they weren't even blown away by this research. You know, so to be put into that position, and then to step back, and then to stand in front of people at Lyceum hours later, and be somebody who's a lecturer, who's an authority on running an office, and somebody that has a lot to share when it comes to philosophy. It's a great experience. It's a strange experience, but it's such a great time to be a chiropractor. And it's so exciting to do what it is we do. And I guess when I go to these groups, you know, where I put my PowerPoints and I watch people, you know, after an hour and a half or 2 hours, I try to get them up and moving, and I try to bring them up to that moment. I see them, you know, they're either filled and their cup's running over, or they're just exhausted because it's been a long day, or they have to eat or whatever. I'm just so excited to share with people what it is. I want everyone to be successful. I want you to enter chiropractic with as much armor and ammunition and tools of success that you possibly can, so you can adjust more people and serve more people and help more families, and certainly be successful in your practice. The profession's not going to be successful if we don't have successful chiropractors. I mean, you know, you can't be living in impoverished poverty as a chiropractor. I mean, you should have a beautiful office. You should live in a beautiful home. You should live a good life. You know, as long as you put the interest of those you serve ahead of your own, you're in total fair exchange with the universe. That's what our goal is. That's what I teach you. So I teach you how to run an office, so I give you the nuts and bolts of how to run it, procedures and so forth. I give you that philosophy that you need, that foundation that so many people are lacking, and then I give you that inspiration, and I show you that, hey, a guy that went to national and really struggled in practice, 20 years later has seen more people in a day than just about anybody, that has run at times the busiest practices on the planet. And there's so much I can offer you in order to teach you how to be successful. I don't want you to wait 20 years and go through trials and tribulations to do it, and in many cases not succeed. I'm right here. Join us in San Francisco on June 24th, 25th. We'd love to have you. I know Dr. Brad and Dr. Matt, I just talked to them in a text the last couple of days. They're pumped, they're excited. Drag friends with us and join Chiropassion. Be there, learn who we are, watch our videos, go to our website, be part of our movement to grow principal chiropractic, successful chiropractors in this country. Guys, this has been Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Thot Flash in Seattle, Washington at Epoch. Have a great week. Go serve. I'll talk to you guys next week.
My best friend gave me the best advice. He said each day